commission resumes, please tell the witness he's still under oath.
Says
Mr. Sevi.
Witness still under oath.
Chairperson, I represent the family of Warrant Officer Munene in these proceedings. My name is Masebe. Good afternoon, Mr. Nzuza.
It's still the morning, Mr. Sevi. You've got 25 minutes. You had 14, you gave 15 away, which I gratefully received. Thank you. You've got 25.
Thank you, Chairperson. Mr. Nzuza, I would like to deal with the issues of the 13. And I've already explained that I represent the family of Warrant Officer Munene who was killed on the 13th near the railway line. Mr. Nzuza, I would like to make a quick reference. I suppose there's no need to really go to the post-mortem, but I would like to make a quick reference to it. That is the post-mortem of Warrant Officer Munene. It states that he had injuries at the back of his head, and he also had gunshot wounds. And then, Mr. Nzuza, I would like to refer you to paragraph 10 of your statement, that is on page 3, your statement which is HHH21.
Paragraph 10 statement sakho.
I would like to quickly refer you to line number 2, that is the end of line number 2 there. You say there was a pandemonium with strikers running away, mainly in the direction of the Kopi. And then you further state that some of the policemen were among the fleeing crowd and there were violent encounters with the strikers. Now, what did you mean that there were violent encounters with the strikers?
What I saw is a police shooting. Someone was shot. There's a person I picked up or took away.
What happened to the policemen that were among these strikers?
I do not know.
Because you say that you saw it. Now, why did you only see the striker who was shot and did not see the police?
I was running.
But then you said that you saw.
Yes, I'd seen this person because he was shot behind me and he fell just behind.
And you didn't see the police that were amongst the strikers?
No, I did not see them. I don't know what became of them.
Mr. Nzuza, did you see any of the strikers do anything at all to any of the policemen?
No, I did not.
Now, you further state, on the very same paragraph, actually, just 2 lines down from where I was reading, you said that some of the workers were fighting back.
Andithi babesulwa kulwa kuzindlela ezininzi babezama ukuphuncula bantu babebanjwa zange kubanjwe umuntu mosiphala.
I'm not literally referring to fight. Fight takes many forms. They were trying to break loose because they were being grabbed. People were being arrested.
Now, why didn't you mention it like that, exactly like that in your statement, instead of saying that they were fighting back, if they were not?
Ngoku kutheni ungayibeka ngaloo ndlela njengoba uyichaza apha uyibeke ngale ndlela ebhalwe ngayo phaa uba bebefighter back besilwa back.
I'm sorry to interrupt. I just didn't want it to be lost. In the previous answer, there's a part that was not interpreted. The last part where it says, "Azange kubanjwe umuntu mosphaya." The part that you did was correct, which was people were being apprehended and they were breaking loose. And then he said, "Azange kubanjwe umuntu mosphaya."
I did not hear that, Mr. Chair. I don't know if it's it. Uthi kuthiwa kho kuloo ndawo ungayitolikanga uthe abantu bebezama ukuphuncuka bebanjwa kodwa uphinde uthi azange kubanjwe umuntu phaa.
Abantu anditeli xesha babanjwa babezama uphuncula zange kubanjwe umuntu abantu baphuncula babaleka.
Yes, they were trying to apprehend the people, but no one was apprehended. People got away.
Now, my question to you is that why didn't you mention it like that in your statement?
Ngoku uthi kutheni ungabhalisanga ngaloo ndlela phaa estatementini?
Njani?
Ngale ndlela uyichaza ngayo ngoku apha.
Njani?
How? How was I supposed to?
The very same thing that you've mentioned before this commission.
Le ndlela ugqiba ichaza ngokwapha commission uthi ayibhalwanga ngaloo ndlela phaa estatementini. Kutheni ungayibhalisanga ngaloo ndlela phaa estatementini?
Anduva tu umbuzo wakho.
I don't understand the question.
You saying that you didn't mean that the strikers were fighting back. They were actually trying to run away.
Uthi ubungathethi laa nto ibhalwe phaa uba befighter back besilwa beziphindisela uthi bebezama ukuphuncuka ukubaleka. Kodwa kutheni ungayi?
Now, why didn't you mention it like that in your statement? That is my question, Mr. Nzuza.
Uyabona le nto ichazayo ngoku apha uthi ayibekwanga ngaloo ndlela phaa estatementini. Kutheni ungayibeka ngaloo ndlela estatementini?
Uyasibona mos umuntu obesibhala ndibhani English andiyazi noyibhalwa njani.
But you see the statement, someone else wrote the statement. It's not me, it's written in English. I don't know how to write in English.
Wasn't it read back to you?
Khange ufundelwe sona esi statement. Xa begqiba usibhala.
Le nto ndisifundelwe ndithini andindiyayicacisa ngondayicacisa loo nto.
After the statement was written, yes, it was read back to me, but I'm explaining it now.
It's not the same.
Kodwa asifani izinto. La nto ibhalweyo nale ichazayo ngoku.
Andikuva
Now I don't understand you.
I'm sure you understand me, but then I'll move on.
Ndimva kakuhle kodwa uzawuqhubeka.
Now, if you look at exhibit RRR 19, that is the statement of Sergeant Cebekulu.
Masijonge statements ka Sergeant Cebekulu.
At page 2.
Page 2.
Paragraph 5. He states that he saw police being attacked instead of a fight. He said he saw police. I noticed mine workers attacking a police with spears and police trying to run away, screaming for help.
Abekhulutsho njalo kwabona ke abasebenzi behlasela ipolisa ngemikhonto, police baleka ke khala phaa efuna uncedo.
Can you say that?
Uyayibona loo nto?
ayitsho nguye andiyibona nanobhalwe ntoni phaa ndabona nje amagama abhalwe apha.
Utsho nguye bani usizo okanye ipolisa eli?
Lipolisa nawuyiphendula ibibhalwa nguye mos.
The officer says so. I can just see words there. I don't know what is written.
Now, this police officer did not see the fight. Instead, he saw the miners attacking.
Ela polisa ke libhalise esa statement alibonanga fight, alibonanga kuliwa, balibone nje abasebenzi basemayini behlasela.
Kutsho lona andiyazi.
That's what the police officer says. I don't know.
You see, Mr. Nzuza, it's not only Mr. Sergeant Cebekulu. It's also Fermak, Lieutenant Fermak on Triple H4.
Kuthiwa ke ayingocebekulu yedwa uthetha le nto no Fermak, Lieutenant Fermak uthetha okanye Colonel Fermak uthetha nayo into efanayo.
Andingeni kwindawo ethethwa nguFermak ndiphendula le ndayibonayo. Fermak yayibonwa nguye.
I have nothing to say with what Fermak says. I'm only responding to what I've seen. Fermak saw what he saw.
The reason why I'm referring you to accounts of these people is that it's contrary to what you told this commission in your statement.
uthi ke uphawula ke uveza izistatements ababantu ngoba ziphambana nalento wena uyixelele commission.
Zezabo kaloku ezo nto ezo.
Those are their versions.
And you have nothing to say against that.
And yona akho nto ufuna uyithetha ngaloo nto bayithethayo.
Ithethwa ngaba nothetha into ethethwa ngomnye umntu.
That is what they say. I cannot respond to what they are saying.
You see, I am going to make a submission at the end of this commission, Mr. Nzuza.
Uthi ke ekugqibeleni uzawuzama ukuxelela iCommission bayikholelwe le nto yokuba
That there was actually no fight, but an attack on the police officers, and I'm talking about Warrant Officer Monene, Warrant Officer Lepaku, and Lieutenant Baloyi.
bakwangekho fight pha kwahlaselwa nje amapolisa lawo mapolisa abayelayo umunene uLiphaku noBaloyi.
Leyo andiyazi.
I do not know about that.
And I will further make a submission before this commission that the perpetrators of this violence face the
And uzawucela iCommission ke bayiqinisekisa into yokuba abo bantu benze ezo zenzo mabajongane nomthetho.
Benditshilo wona.
That's what I've also said.
Well, thank you very much, Chairperson. We have no further questions for this witness.
Asinamibuzo
Thank
ke.
Mr. Bam, you're going to cross-examine on behalf of Lonman. You've been allocated 90 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Uzawubuza ke Mr. Bam ngoku.
Mr. Chairman, may I ask
Lonman.
for the transcript date 277, page 35458 to be put on the screen, please?
I'm sorry, what line do you want to look
35458.
at? 35
458.
4458.
Yes.
We've got that on the screen. What line do you want?
I'm going to go through aspects of that page and the next page, so we just leave it at the top.
You'll start at the top.
Mr. Nzuza, you were a winch operator employed by Lonman.
Ubuyi winch operator pha eLonman wena ndithi? Yes.
And
I'm sorry, Mr. Bam, is that correct? Was he a winch operator employed by Lonman, or was he employed by a subcontractor of Lonman?
he
I'm
says
just
in his
asking for
statement,
purposes of interest of accuracy.
his statement says, I am a 27-year-old employee of Lonman. I'm a
Yes,
winch
I
operator.
know, but there was some other evidence to the effect that, as far as I can remember, which indicated that statement might have been not strictly accurate. So I'm just asking you, as you appear for Lonman.
As I understand it, he was a winch operator employed by Lonman, but if that is not correct, I'll sort it.
Well, it may not be relevant for your question anyway, but I thought in the interest of accuracy we should.
Yes,
get
I
the
understand,
facts.
Mr. Chairman.
Chairperson, if I may assist, because I led that evidence. What the witness said was that before being employed as a winch operator by Lonman in 2007, he had worked, I think, from 2006 with a contractor, but that's what Mr. Bam is dealing with is when he was working at Lonman.
So I misunderstood. So it is correct that he was employed by Lonman at the time and not a subcontractor. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Nzuza, if I understood your evidence correctly, on the for the night shift of the 10th, you were on your way to work.
Busiya emsebenzini ke uyosebenza i-night shift nge-10 andithi? Yes.
And at that point in time, you had no idea that there was a strike.
Ngelo xesha ubungazi ngestrike. Yes.
So, up until that point in time, when the strike had already started, from your perspective, you had no idea there was a strike and you had no intention to go on strike.
Kude kufike lo xesha ke apho i-strike sesiqalile wena ubungazi ngestrike ubungenazinjongo zokungenela i-strike andithi?
Ndova umbuzo wakho.
Don't understand the question.
On your way to work on the 10th, you had no intention of going on strike.
ngeli xesha usiya emsebenzini nge-10 bungenazinjongo zokubandakanya ne-strike wena.
Andiwuva lo mbuzo tu.
I don't understand that question.
You were on your way to work on the 10th, on the evening of the 10th for the night shift.
Bobusuku bange-10 busiya emsebenzini uyowenza i-night shift.
Ewe.
Yes.
And the only reason you were on your way to work is because you had no intention to go on strike. You didn't believe that you needed to go on strike at that time.
Busemsebenzini ngoba ungenazinjongo zokustrike.
Andiwuva kuloo ndawo ke ngoba
That's the part I don't understand.
What about it don't you understand? Did you go to work on the night of the 10th?
Into ongayivayo busemsebenzini ngobusuku bange-10.
ewe nditsho ndanze emsebenzini.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. I was on my way to work.
And if you were on your way to work, you had no intention of going on strike at that point in time.
So ngelo xesha usiya emsebenzini shuthi awufuni ukustrike ngoba ufuna uye emsebenzini.
Ndandingazi ngastrike.
I did not know about the strike.
Absolutely.
I
And
don't
in
get that.
fact, prior to the 10th, did you know about any demands made on management, of Lonman's management, for an increase in wages to 12,500 rand?
Phambi kwazo ke i-10 ubunolwazi ngemfuno zabasebenzi pha kulonmini banyuselwe imali be-12,500.
Bendingazi nto.
No, did not know anything.
You went to the copy for the first time on the morning of the 11th of August, the Saturday.
Uye ke okokuqala pha ekopini ngentsasa yange-11 andithi?
Ndiye Vennerkop, not ekopini.
I went to Vonderkop, not to the copy.
To Vonderkop, you're absolutely right.
Vonderkop.
You went there at that point in time because you were told that there was a strike and people were not going to work.
Uye apho ke Vonderkop ngelo xesha ngoba uxelelwe ke ngoku ngestrike waxelwa noba abantu abaya emsebenzini.
Ewe.
Yes.
Your evidence at page 35460, if you go to page 35460,
Unqina bakho ke kula page.
at line 18, you say people were seated there waiting to get a report as to when the employer would be able to give us money.
Uthi abantu bebehleli pha belindele ukufumana ingxelo yokuba ke umqashi uzabanika nini imali.
Nini?
Ufunda pha ku-wine.
And they were seated at the copy at that point in time. If you look at the question that was asked of you by Mr. Mpofu.
Uyawubona la umgca 18 apho uthi abantu bebehleli pha belindele ukufumana ingxelo ireport ukuba umqashi uzawusinika nini imali. Ngokujonga la mbuzo okanye la mpendulo nombuzo obubuzwa nguMr Mpofu iyacaca into babe nihleli pha ekopini ngelo xesha.
Ndendifuna ukwazi nini.
I'm asking when.
On the 11th.
11.
Kangithi kopini the bebese uthe ngasekopini
Uthe ngasekopini.
and the ngasekopini emagroundini.
I did not say the copy. I said near the copy at the grounds.
Now, when you said people were seated there waiting to get a report as to when the employer would be able to give us the money, at that point in time, you had already joined the strike on the 11th.
Ngeli xesha ke usithi abantu bebehleli pha belindele lo ngxelo yomqashi bazawubanika nini imali busosijoyinile istrike ngo-11 ezo.
Ewe.
Yes.
When you joined the strike, did you know what the strike was about? Why people had gone on strike?
Xa usijoyina esi strike ubusazi uba singantoni kutheni abantu bestrike.
Andiwuva?
I don't understand the question.
People who were on strike.
Abantu bebesestrikini andithi?
Ewe.
Yes.
And you joined the strike.
Wasijoyina wena so strike andithi?
Ewe.
Yes.
Did you know the reason for people having gone on strike?
Ubuyazi ba kustrikelwa ntoni?
Ndibendingazi.
I said I did not know.
You did not know. So you went on strike without knowing why people had gone on strike.
Bongazi so ungenela istrike ujoyina istrike ongasazi uba sesantoni.
Bendiyova le nto kuthiwa yidityanelo Vennerkop.
I went there to hear what was the gathering about at Vonderkop.
And when you went to Vordenkop, what did you hear about the reason for the gathering?
Awufika ke pha eVonderkop weva uba yintoni le dityanelwe pha eVonderkop.
Andiwuva?
Did you hear the question?
When you went to Vordenkop, were you told why people were gathering and why they were on strike?
xa ufika eVonderkop uxelelo ba kutheni abantu bedibene pha kutheni bese striking.
And we never kufuna 12,500.
Yes, got there and I heard that the people who wanted 12,500 rand.
Which people? Was it all of the workers or just a certain category of workers?
Ngobani bebefuna lo mali bonke abasebenzi okanye amacandelo athile wabasebenzi baba?
Ngamacandelo athile njengoba usitsho nawo.
Certain categories, as you say, as you put it.
And amongst those categories were winch operators in the category of people who wanted 12,500.
Enye ke yalo macandelo zi-winch operators bebefuna le mali.
So usitsho.
You said so, as you say, yes.
I'm asking you, were winch operators part of the category of people who wanted 12,500?
Andazi mina ngibuza wona ba i-winch operators nazo ngelinye icandelo labo bantu bebefuna le mali.
Mna ndazi abasebenzi.
I know the workers wanted that money.
I'm going to ask you one more time. And I'll move on from there. Mr. Nzuza, when you were told about the demand for 12,500 rand, were you told which category of workers wanted that amount?
Xa uxelelwa ngale mali 12,500 uxelelwe na ukuba zeziphi sections abasebenzi okanye amacandelo abasebenzi afuna le mali?
Kuthiwa ngabasebenzi.
I was told the workers.
You weren't told which categories of workers?
Khange uxelelwe ii-categories okanye ii-section ezithile zabasebenzi basezini.
Ndithi abasebenzi.
I'm saying the workers.
Was there any explanation given to you about where the amount of 12,500 rand had come from?
Uchazelo mhlawumbe uba izawuvela phi le mali the 12,500.
No.
Azikuva ke.
Can you repeat the question, sir?
Was there any explanation furnished to you about where the amount of 12,500 had come from? The demand for 12,500.
Yes. Uxelelwe na uchazelwe na ukuba le mali esisibalo se 12,500 kufikelelwe njani kuso?
Ewe.
Yes, sir.
And what was told to you and by whom?
Kuthweni uxelelwe ngubani?
Bekuthetha abasebenzi.
The workers were speaking.
They were Did they explain to you on what basis they had arrived at the amount of 12,500 rand?
Bachazile ke ukuba bafikelele njani kwesi sibalo kwelinani le 12,500?
Ayele andiyazi.
No, I don't know about that.
You don't know about it. You say in the sentence I just read to you at line 18, people were seated there waiting to get a report as to when their employer would be able to give us the money.
Kulamgcanqo bawufunda line 18 uthi abantu bebehleli pha belindele uva ingxelo ukuba umqashi uzawusinika nini imali uzakwazi nini usinika imali.
Ewe.
Yes.
So if I understand you correct, what the workers were waiting for was a response to when they would get the money they were demanding.
So xa ndiwuva kakuhle lamgca yokuba abasebenzi bebelinde uva impendulo ukuba umqashi uba bazayifumana nini imali.
Ewe nditsho.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
And that is what they wanted, a report back on when they would get the money.
Into bebeyifuna ukufumana ingxelo ireport uba imali sayifumana nini.
Ewe into besifuna le.
Yes, that's what we wanted.
And if Lonman did not agree to give the amount that was demanded, the strike would continue.
And bangaba ke uLonman akavume ukunika le mali efunwayo istrike isaqhubeka.
Ndiwuva umbuzo wakho.
I don't understand the question.
The demand was for a salary of 12,500 rand.
Imfuno yabo ke ibiyimali le 12,500.
Ewe.
Yes.
And you said that the workers were waiting for a report on when the employer would be able to give us the money. That must be the 12,500 rand.
And pha uthi abasebenzi bebelinde ukufumana ireport ingxelo ukuba bazayifumana nini imali lo mali ndiyathemba iyo le 12,500.
Ewe besilinde basifumana nini.
Yes, that's what we're waiting for to hear. When are we getting that money?
And if you were told that Lonman would not agree to give you the 12,500 rand, the strike would have continued.
And waxelelwa ke futhi uba ngaba uLonman akavume ukunika le mali istrike sawuqhubeka.
Andikuva yaphi loo ndawo le.
That's the part I don't know.
I'm not sure why you don't understand. Would the strike have come to an end if Lonman management had come and said to you, going to give in to your demand of 12,500 rand?
Istrike besawuphela uba ngaba uLonman ozile wathi silapha ke ngizothetha nani asizonika. Asivuma ukunika le mali.
Uzakelwa ndiwuphendule.
But Lonman did not come, so I'm not going to respond to an example.
I'm asking again for one last time.
Zakubuza okugqibela.
And Mr. Nzuza, I'm going to suggest to the Commission, if you don't answer the question openly, that you deliberately evading the question. So I'm going to
And-
give you the opportunity one more time to answer the question.
Zawuakusha ke commission ba ngamabomu ufuna ukuphendula imibuzo ndiyo lento ndikunika ithuba lokuba uphendule.
If at the time Lonman did not agree to the demand for 12, continue.
Bangaba men khange ivume na. Yes, the strike could continue.
Thank you. I'll come back to that topic a little later. I'd like to go back to the events of the 13th.
Siya ke kwisiganeko se-13
Toward that H54H50 of the transcript, if you could go there, please.
ndothetha ngayo ke kulo page.
And if you can go to line 11. You'll see there, Mr. asks you about going to Korea on the 13th.
Mr. Mpofu kubuza ke ngokuya eKaria pha nge-13.
And he asks you what Korea, and you say we had gone to see if there were workers at the shaft.
Yakubuza uba ibintoni injongo yeKaria uthi wena besiyobona sijonga ukuba kunabasebenzi napha kulo shaft.
Now, can you explain again, Mr. Nzuza, what the purpose was of you going to see whether there were workers at the K3 shaft on the 13th?
Ngawuchaza ke futhi ibintoni injongo yokuba niye niyobona uba kukho abasebenzi napha eshaftini eKaria.
Sendiphendulile lo mbuzo.
I've already answered that question.
Can I ask you to go to
Sorry, let me interpose, Mr. What would you have done if there had been workers at the shaft?
Benizokwenza ntoni ke xa ngabe bekunabasebenzi fumana abasebenzi pha eshaftini?
Besingazukwenza nto.
We would have done nothing, Mr. Chair.
Can I ask you to go to page 35487, please?
Sawujonga ke lo page.
Line 9. Now, Mr. Nzuza, if I understood correctly, and if my understanding was incorrect, please correct me.
Bangaba ndikuvanga kakuhle uzawundicorrecta ke apha.
Mr. Noki was one of the leaders of the...
Ukhelze andithi? Beyenye yazo.
Ewe.
Yes.
And he had asked you to go to K3 on the 13th.
And wakucela ukuba okanye wanicela uba niye K3 pha nge-13.
Ndimame.
Yes, I'm listening.
Now, you testified at line 9 on that page. You said what Noki said to them, and this was to the security people from London.
Pha kupage lamgcake 9 uyasho uba uNoki utheni kubo i-security.
He says, you say what Noki said to them was that we have come here to stop the workers from working because we want them all on the mountain.
Wathi size apha ke ukumisa abasebenzi bangasebenzi ngoba sibafuna bonke pha entabeni.
Umbuzo wakho lobuthe besizakwenza ntoni?
But your question was what
I'm
were
going
we
to
going
get to my question. I just want to confirm that is what Noki had said to the security.
Ndiseza embuzweni wami safuna uqinisekisa uba yinto uNoki ayithethileyo le.
Ewe ithethwe nguwe.
Yes, that's what Noki said, not me.
And what Noki said to the security people was that a fair reflection of the intention of going to K3 on the day.
And le nto ayithethayo uNoki kweza security inyani into nyani yokuba abasebenzi baye pha eK3 ngaloo mini.
Ndiwuva.
I don't understand.
What Mr. Noki had told the security people, did he communicate what you all had intended in going towards K3?
Lento uNoki afike wayixela i-security uthethe lento nani niyaziyo lento eniyizeleyo pha eK3. Kanti wathethe zakhe ba.
Ufike wathetha lento besiyithetha.
He said what we were saying. He told the security what we were saying.
Thank you very much. If you were told that there were people who were working at K3, what would your attitude have been towards those people who were working at K3 at the time?
Bangaba ke benixelela uba bakhona abantu abasebenza pha eK3. Benizayithatha njani loo nto? Benizawenza ntoni?
Besingazukwenza nto.
We would have done nothing.
Why then did you want to go to K3 if you would have done nothing if people were working there? What was the purpose of a trip?
ngokuye
do
xa ngaba
nothing if there are people working there.
xa ngabakhonto endizawuyenza xa ndifumana abantu besebenza nizihluphela ntoni niye phaa K3 niyobujonga uba bakhona nabantu abasebenzayo ntoni injongo ukuya phaa xa ngabakhonto endizawuyenza. Now I don't understand.
You say you would have done nothing, and I'm going to suggest to you that what you're saying is completely inconsistent with what you say, Mr. Nock, security officers.
uthi ke bendingazukwenza nto and loo nto ithetha ihambelani nale nto
500 ma baye entabeni sofuna 12,500.
we said when we got there we came to 12,500. They must go to the mountain because we want 12,500.
You see, Mr. Nzuza, when you were asked questions in your evidence by Mr. Mpofu, what you said was that Mr. Noki had said to the security officers that we have come here to stop the workers from working.
uthe uMr Noki waxela ama-security ukuba size apha ukummisa aba bantu basebenzayo uba bangasebenzi.
Into bendimamele phaa kuvidiyo beyithetha bendiphendula yona.
That's what I was listening when he was talking on the video. I was responding to that.
He wasn't talking on the video at that point in time. This is when he was talking to the security officers and not to the police.
Bengathethi kwividiyo ngelo xesha kungeli xesha apha ngoku bethetha ne-security officer ayikho kwividiyo.
Walo bethetha ne-security semane esixelela uba sizocela abasebenzi bami sihambe sofuna 12,500.
Yes, he was talking to the security, telling them we've come to ask the workers to stop working. They should go to the mine, to the mountain. We want 12,500 rand.
And the real intention of going to K3 was to stop workers from working.
Eyona njongo yokuya K3 bekukumisa abasebenzi babangasebenzi. Yes.
Thank you. You were, Mr. Nzuza, you recall you were shown a series of video clips about different speeches that were made on the mountain or at the copy on the 16th of August. You remember that?
Yakhumbula ke uke waboniswa i-video clips ezimbalwa ngengxelo okanye izpeech into zazithethwa pha ekopini ndathamba nge-16 yakhumbula lo. Yes.
And there were different videos shown. One of the videos, there was a person, video 14, there was a person called Andries who was speaking.
Video ezimbalwa nje waboniswa zona enye yazo bekuthetha uAndries. Yes.
And amongst the things that Andries had said was, we want him to, and he was talking about the employer, we want him to speak to us at the mountain. We told him we wanted.
Enye yezinto asethileyo uAndries yileyo ukuba sifuna azothetha nathi apha entabeni simele into yokuba sifuna don't understand.
Andries said quite a few things, but two of the things he said was that we want him to speak to us at the mountain.
uAndries uthethe izinto ezimbalwanyana kodwa enye yazo uthe sifuna azothetha nathi apha entabeni umqashi. Yes.
And he also said we told him how much we wanted.
Wathi futhi simxelele uba sifuna malini, simxelele umlungu uba sifuna malini.
Ebethethwa nguAndries leyo bengathethwa ndim.
That's what Andries said, not me.
And one of the other speakers, the gentleman who spoke in Shangan,
Umnyeke lo bethetha ngesishangano wathi
amongst the things he said was, we are going to stay here until they put in money we are demanding.
sizawuhlala apha bade bayifake le mali esiyifunayo. Yenye yezinto azithethileyo lo mntu.
Ibithethwa ngumtshangana lo.
That's a Shangan speaker who said that.
And you then said, Mr. Nzuza, I think it was you, if I'm wrong then Mr. Mpofu will correct me. That was video 18.
Wena ke ngoku wathi
You said, we are not going anywhere until management comes here. And here was a reference to the mountain.
wena wathi asindawo abaphathi bade beza apha kusentabeni.
Nditshilo.
Yes, I said so.
You also said, we are going to remain as we are until management comes here.
Wathi futhi sawuhlala njengoba sinje ade aze umphathi. Yes.
One of the other people who spoke was somebody referred to as Kaisa.
Omnye othethileyo nguKhayisa
There was video 20.
pha ku video 20.
And he said, we are not moving from here until we get what we want.
Wathi uKhayisa asishenqi apha sisuka apha side sifumane lento esifunayo.
Ithethwa ngikhayisa la indima.
That's what Kaisa said, not me.
Is it fair to conclude from what we were shown from all those video clips that there were two non-negotiables for those of you who were on the copy at the time, the strikers? The first was that you wanted Lonman management to come to the copy.
Singayithatha ke into yokuba ku-right into yoba sithi zikho into ezimbini beningagungqi kuzo. Yokuqala yokuba Lonman makaze apha ekopini.
And the second was that you wanted your demand for payment of 12,500 to be met.
Yesibini yokuba nifuna ke avumelane nemfuno yenu le 12,500 rand. Ezo nto zimbini beningagungqi kuzo.
Besifuna lona.
Yes, that's what we wanted.
And if you didn't get what you wanted, the strike would have continued.
And bangaba nifumana into enifuna i-strike sawuqhubeka.
Senje.
I've already said so.
Thank you. I want to go on to a different topic now, Mr. Nzuza. Mr. Nzuza,
Saya kwelinye inqaku.
you were referred to, and I want to be fairly precise because I don't want us to get into any level of confusion. You'll recall you were referred to the deaths of Mr. Fundi and Mr. Mabalani on the 12th of August.
Yakhumbula ke uye waxelwa ke kwathethwa ngekufa kaMr.
12th of August. In which they were
Like awa
responsible for
babe ba ubulala amadoda.
you have no difficulty in characterizing their killings, their deaths, as acts of criminality.
So awunangxaki ke ukufa kwalamadoda ubona njengezenzo.
Chairperson, our already said people pick up after the conviction and all that. It is really unfair.
Object he believed that charged criminally. I'm asking him for his characterization. Conduct which led to their killings. Whether somebody is convicted or not later is a different issue.
No.
But he cannot, I'm asking him for his own characterization. But it's for him to deal with it, Mr. Chairman.
Chairperson,
I think the question as framed didn't quite convey that. The distinction drawn by Mr. Mpofu relates to not charged with, that they were
that was conduct which you would regard as criminal conduct.
Uyavumana ukuba isenzo esikhokelele ekufeni kwalamadoda sisenzo solwaphula mthetho.
I can see where Mr. All I'm saying, let me put it simplistically. A person, a criminal offense is not a criminal but a person who's convicted of a criminal offense is a criminal. That's the distinction that I would like him to be aware of in formulating the question.
Mr. Chairman, again, the real difficulty with the objection is I'm not identifying a particular person as being called a criminal or not. I'm identifying the conduct, whoever may have been responsible
It's the
for
same
the conduct.
thing.
It's the conduct whose characterization I'm seeking to elicit from the witness.
No,
Yes, Mr. Mpofu, what's your reply?
no, Chairperson, I mean, that's a non-distinction. If the conduct is criminal, it's declared criminal at the point at which the conviction is made. For example, if you do something and at the point of conviction it's found that you should be acquitted, then it means your conduct was not criminal. I mean, I don't know what the difference between a person and a conduct. What is that?
You may be acquitted on the grounds it's not proved that you were responsible for the conduct. It wasn't your conduct. It was the conduct of somebody else.
That's true, but it doesn't mean the conveyance is not true. You may also be acquitted on the basis that your conduct was not criminal.
I think the question as framed is sufficiently clear to indicate the distinction to which Mr. Bam refers, and I allow the question.
Mr. To the